All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday out there to everyone. It is November 5th. We got 5 games on today's NBA slate. We're going to jump into each of those games. I'm going to give you my lean or leans on the games, but all my final plays, so what I'm actually rolling with myself, those will be in the pinned comment. And another night, and I hate to say another night, but it's been a little bit in a row now, where another night in which there's more red X's on the recap than there is green. We only had one hit yesterday. Luckily, it was a plus money hit, but nonetheless, still lost off the top with those 3 losses there. I even said that Kings game, I was like, is this the biggest trap of all time? I'm still going to fall for it. And they get smoked by the Rockets. So 1-3 night, but there is a little promise there. A lot of the reads, at least for leans yesterday in today's video, were good, and I didn't make them final play. So now I'm at a point where I'm like, all right, well, we're making good reads. You're just picking the wrong plays as your most confident plays. Tough spot to be in, but nonetheless, guys, feel free to fade me. Always not forcing you to take these picks. And if you are fading me, and I see a lot of people in the comments fading me, good for you guys, because this last week you have been cleaning up. But nonetheless, long-term game here. I am confident that we bounce back, and I think I found something with that same game parlay strategy. So very excited to jump into that. On even maybe darker news here, Cam Reddish over 10 points. Bo with the ride of the day does not come through here. Cam Reddish finishes with 2 points. He did play a decent amount of minutes, almost 25 minutes, but nonetheless, under 10.5 points, he had 2. If you guys do want to be the ride of the day, all you got to use is hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me an absolute banger of a play. Not like this one, Bo. And I'll be jumping on board with one person's pick in the comments. And you guys get a shout out in the next video, win or loss. Again, this one was a tough one. I liked the chance for it. I was like, you know what, screw it, let's roll with it. And screw it indeed, because that was just as bad as my picks last night. So Bo, we're in the exact same spot here. But use that hashtag ride of the day, guys. I'll be jumping on board with one person's pick, and you guys get a shout out in the next video. Maybe you have to face the womp womp, but let's not throw out there a loser, right? Let's get a winner for the ride of the day so we can celebrate and cheer. And guys, before we do get into the picks, last thing I promise, it's a basketball video, but this is a football promo here, sleeper for tonight's game, Sunday Night Football, as well as tomorrow, Monday Night Football. They have 2 free promo squares. Go check it out. Use the link in the pinned comment. Get 100% of your first deposit matched. If you don't know what sleeper is and it's legal in your state, you need to wake up and go try it out. It's my favorite DFS pick'em app out there right now. Yes, even more than PrizePicks. Go check it out, sleeper. That link is in the pinned comment for 100% deposit matched. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into games, which I'm sure like half of you at this point are like, all right, just get to the pick so I know exactly what to do the opposite of. That's the problem, though. My leans have been freaking on fire. It's my final play selection that is killing our record here. But nonetheless, bad juju out the window. Every day's a new day. And I keep telling myself that, but yikes. Detroit here taking on Phoenix. Detroit getting a decent amount of points, 5.5 at home, total sitting at 225.5. Now Phoenix coming off the back-to-back. They lose by 12 points yesterday. It was an early game though, so it's not like they went from, you know, playing in Philly late to going to Detroit, which wouldn't be like the longest of commutes either, right? But I don't really put too much weight into the back-to-back here. They tipped off at 1 p.m. Eastern time yesterday. And now I do think that obviously, you know, they have it's an afternoon game today too, but still not putting too much weight into the back-to-back. And good news for the Suns, which it may be good news. Bradley Beal officially listed as a game time decision, and Devin Beal listed as a game time decision as well. So I'm actually going to take the chance here and hope that one of those guys plays. And look at Phoenix here, minus the 5.5 points. It's actually -5 on Bet365. That's the best odds out there right now. I don't have access to that book, but if you do, there you go. I think they're only legal in a few states. But I do think that this is a Suns team that it's like, what are we doing? Like, this is a crazily bad start to the year. And I know they've been injured, but no one really saw this coming with that big 3, right? Now, Beal really hasn't entered yet. But nonetheless, they're 2-4 on the season, 3-3 against the spread. Detroit also 2-4 on the season, 3-3 against the spread. And I've said that I like betting Pistons this season, but I think the Suns have a little bit of a bounce back spot here. Detroit has lost 3 games in a row, so they may be kind of on the slide, to be completely honest, because they lost to Portland, then New Orleans, 2 games that they definitely could have hung in there. They just didn't. So give me Phoenix here. In terms of the total, 222.5. It's hard to look at this Phoenix team and take an over right now. But I do think that Detroit's defense is lacking to some degree here. They're a really good rebounding team, defensive, offense, everything like that, right? But when it comes to defense here, they just allowing pretty much a league average right in the middle there. The Suns offense kind of needs a bad defense to go up against here, because I rag on the Suns in terms of how bad they have been. And it's tough because they've played some teams that they definitely should have won, but they just faced the Philly defense. That's a legit defense, right? They scored 100 points against them. When the Suns play against, I guess, quote unquote, bad defenses, we could use Utah and then the 2 games against San Antonio, they do score a decent amount of points. So it's more or less like when they're playing these defenses that are fairly good, they score a few amount of points, like Philly yesterday. I think there's a lot of points in this game. So give me the over 222.5. And I'm going to keep an eye out for some better lines, because I'd love to odd shop that and get it somewhere better around like 220.5 or so, because Bet365 has it there right now as well. But yeah, give me the over as well as Phoenix. Keep an eye on the pinned comment for the final plays. All right, next up, we have the Spurs taking on Toronto here. And though Toronto on the road is yet to win this year, they're 0-2, I still like them in this spot. You have a San Antonio team that is a very bad defense, at least to start the year, right? It's still early enough to caveat it with that, but allowing the 5th most points in the entire league this season here. And Toronto's offense, 2nd fewest points per game. So they are not a good offense, but this seems like a pretty good spot for them to kind of get it going. Competing with the Sixers in their last game, too. They end up losing by 15 points, but if you watch that game, they were in that game for a decent amount of time. So I don't want to totally knock them, but they looked okay, in spurts there. And then when it comes to the offensive side of things for San Antonio, you're looking at a pretty good defense, at least points per game wise, when it comes to Toronto here. They're the number 1 team in field goal percentage against as well. Opponent shooting just 42% against them. Number 2 team in 3-point percentage. So I do think that they have, a good defense, and they're pretty versatile too. We'll see how they go up against Wemby here, because they don't have the size that some teams have, but they are a pretty versatile defense when you think about guys switching around almost, I don't want to say 1 through 5, but you have Pirtle, Siakam, Barnes, and Anunoby. Actually, screw that. Say Siakam, Barnes, and Anunoby, those 3, right? They're shooting guard through power forward. They can mix and match, because Anunoby's strong enough. Barnes, we know, can cover multiple positions. Siakam's quick enough as a longer guy, right? Pirtle and Schroeder are going to be kind of, they're going to cover the center, and then Schroeder's going to cover the point guard. But I'm kind of buying, as of right now, into this Toronto defense. So 3 points, I'm not afraid of that whatsoever. Give me Toronto here. Total sitting at 223. This is where I could be honest, and I'm kind of in the middle here, because I just talked about how well I'm buying the defense, but this is also, I don't know if the Raptors have had a better spot, going up against the team offensively yet. Like even Portland they played, right? Portland's defense is not as bad as you might think they are, because their team's bad. This is not a good San Antonio defense right now. So I'm almost thinking that there's going to be a decent amount of points scored in this game. My confliction here is that if that's the case, I don't love my Raptors -3 anymore, right? So I'm probably sticking away from this total and really trying to put it in a vacuum and say, okay, we know the Raptors are the better team. I think they're going to go out there and win this game. Why worry about, them playing enough defense to secure it? If I had a gun to my head, I probably would lean towards the under because it kind of, correlates to that Raptors pick, but I don't think anything in this game comes from a total pick today. All right, guys, Cleveland taking on Golden State here. Before we break it down, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. Let me know in the comments if you're still rocking with me, even after this cold stretch. Like, I see the lights flickering in the morning. I'm kind of like, uh-oh, we're about to not pay the electricity bill. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you're still rocking with me, or if you're fading me. The Guppies are okay too, guys. We all love each other. But nonetheless, Cleveland here taking on the Golden State Warriors. Cleveland is healthy, so I do want to kind of throw that in there. Klay Thompson's listed as a game time decision right now, but likely to play. Golden State looking really good. 5-1 this season here. Only 3-3 against the spread, but nonetheless 5-1. They're 4-0 on the road. The Cavs are yet to pull out a home victory. 0-3 at home here. Record of 2-4. And this is where, I don't know if it's gotten to this point in the season yet where I'm not trusting myself entirely in some sort of pick'em spots like Cleveland -1.5 and Golden State -1.5. This is just like yesterday where I should have been able to read the line and said, you know what? I like the Kings. They're the better team than Rockets. Golden State's a better team than the Cavs, right? But why not? Why is this line where it is? And I'm asking myself that exact same question with the Cavs here. Why, as a team that is 2-4 on the season, 1-5 against the spread, yet to get a home victory, they're at home, why are they favored -1.5? And I kind of should settle on the idea of why I'm asking that question. Read the line, understand that Vegas is setting that line for a reason. I want to go Warriors +1.5. Cavs -1.5 all day long here. I think that this is a spot in which all the numbers say Golden State's a better team. With the finite amount of data that we have so far in the season, every model that we have or have built is going to say, well, this Warriors team is going to win this game because they're way better, right? But why is that line at -1.5? You know what I mean? Like there's times where, sports betting is all about knowing basketball, knowing the game. And then there's times where it's like, well, read the lines. Vegas is literally doing this and all the research you're doing tenfold. And if they're placing that line at -1.5, it's either Klay Thompson's not going to play, which is a huge hit to that Warriors team, or they know that the Cavs are going to keep this game close here. So any numbers you crunch, you're going to put Golden State over this Cavs team easily. I'm kind of fading that sort of thought process, I guess you could say, because it just doesn't make sense to me why they'd be at this spot. So give me the Cleveland Cavs, and I'm fading that gut reaction, betting with the head, not the gut, and going with the Cavs -1.5. Now the total here sitting at 224. I will say, I think that these two teams can go out there and score over that easily, and I do mean easily. Like I believe in this Cleveland offense. That the defense has not been all there yet, but when they're healthy, I think that this offense is going to be fine. But if I think Cleveland's going to keep this game close, they are healthy for the first time in a while. They're going to have Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, and Darius Garland like this. In Max Strus, not much of the defender, but I do think that this could be where we see Cleveland's defense kind of take that step up and almost what we've been waiting for, right? They actually held, 2 days ago, right? They held the Pacers to 121, which sounds like they let up a lot of points, but that's a Pacers team that's been scoring a bunch of points. So nonetheless, I do think that Cleveland here -1.5, as well as the under, is going to be my play. The problem here is, guys, is that this is line reading. All the numbers you crunch, if you have models built or our models, anything like that, they're going to say Golden State in the over just because of what we've seen so far from Golden State and Cleveland, side by side. But give me Cleveland here. Dallas taking on Charlotte here. Terry Rozier and Kyrie Irving both listed as game time decisions. Morris for Dallas is a game time decision, as well as Kleber. And then we have Martin as a game time decision as well for Charlotte. So decent amount of injuries here. I don't know how much it's going to affect it. This is a good team taking on, I guess what we could call, obviously, a bad team here. What I will say is this Dallas team, I kind of had a little bit more hope in them when they went up against Denver, right? I was like, they'll keep that game close. We hit that same game parlay, and I'm damn glad we did. Again, same game parlays may be where we have to focus here, because we haven't been good to start the NBA, or we haven't been good. We were good to start the NBA season. That only lasted a few days. Now we've been pretty bad, but our same game parlays have been on fire right now, because I think we're really good at identifying where we can massage those numbers, and it's actually worked out fairly well. So, got to give my credit to where it's due at some point, because our NBA season has been that great. But we got Dallas and bumped up the points there, and that covered for us. It may be something that we're interested in doing again today, bumping Dallas down, because I do think they're way better than Charlotte, but I just can't lay 11 points straight up. The Charlotte team, not a good team. Like I said, they're coming off of a win against Indiana. Maybe that fires them up. But some of the teams, like, they've had a really, really bad schedule. Atlanta, Detroit, Brooklyn, Houston, and Indiana, and they're still 2-3. That just kind of shows that, and it's not to surprise us, right? This is a very young team. They do have talent, but they're just not. They're the Charlotte Hornets at the end of the day, sadly. So I'm going to lean Dallas here, but note that if we do roll with this spot, I think I'm looking at Dallas as well as in a same game parlay. So we'll probably bump that total down, that line down to like Dallas maybe -4.5, something like that. And then we'll have to massage some numbers with the total, because this is just a team in which they are better, no matter how you want to cut it. I don't think it's necessarily a trap spot for them either. They're at home. Charlotte, this is, I believe, their last night of a road trip, so they could kind of phone it in, right? Whereas Dallas just got back, and now they ship out tomorrow as well. So I think they want to capitalize on their home game here. So, give me Dallas. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. I don't like that total, but I do think that we may mess with the total a little bit if we want some sort of a good same-game parlay. But I could also look into some sort of a player prop here to pair with Dallas -5, -4.5, and be comfortable with it. So we'll have something on this game potentially, but keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we end up landing on for it. Guys, I want to shout out the voicemail. I want to shout out the voicemail line again. If you guys want to leave a voicemail, you can hate on me, you can show your love, anything like that. You want to plug something that you got going on, leave a voicemail, 617-302-6363. I'll put that in the pinned comment as well. We'll be playing voicemails. We're picking a day of the week that we'll play the voicemails from the week. So we got a couple in the bank now, right? And we'll play them maybe on Fridays or something like that. We're figuring out when to do the voicemails, but it's another way for you guys to get involved involved. Again, it's all about the community. It's not just me with a camera and a mic giving some bad picks. No, it is about the community we're building and everything like that. That's here for the long haul. So leave a voicemail, even if you want to call in and hate me. No guppies, one, make it this far into the video, and two, will ever have the balls to call in and say it. You're fine typing away your hate comments on a keyboard, but I'd love to hear your voice and hear you actually say it. That's as close as saying it to my face as you can get for now, right? So go ahead, if you're a guppy, call in. Let me know your guppy gang. But guys, yeah, go ahead, 617-302-6363. All right, last game on the slate here, we got Portland taking on Memphis. This is a weird one for me because this Memphis team, I feel like I've given them a couple chances, and they just straight up stink, right? 0-6 record here. And you're like, oh, well, that's tough. They're 1-5 against the spread. Like, no matter how you want to cut this, against the spread or just straight up, like, this team has been super, super bad. Now, they're playing Portland, who they almost beat a couple nights ago, right? It went to OT. Portland ends up winning it by 2. I like Cleveland in this spot today. I don't love laying 3 points, so maybe this is a parlay, but call me crazy, which kind of sounds like it's crazy. Memphis has got to get their first win at some point, right? And in terms of what they're looking at coming up, they have Miami, Utah, and the Clippers. Like, I think that those could be some tough games for them. Utah already blew them absolutely out. Miami, I think, is starting to try and get, I guess, the train on the tracks. And then the Clippers, they don't have the best chance against. So they could be, you know, right now they're 0-6. If they lose this game and those next 3, they could be 0-10, which is like, you know? So this is a good spot for them to get their first win. I like Memphis here. If we can get a better line than 3, I will, but as crazy as it is, there's a strong chance that this could be a final play. Last game went, again, into overtime. It was a 115-113 game, and it would have finished under this line had they not gone into overtime. Very slow scoring game. They only had one quarter over 30 points, but if Memphis is going to push the pace and win this game, I do think that, you know, they beat Portland's defense, because Memphis isn't the defense that you can write home about anymore, which is crazy also. Like, they usually have that defensive identity, right? But defensively ranked this year, they're allowing plenty of points in the bottom 5 here. But, you know, fourth quarter scoring, they're 8th. So maybe they look a little bit better as the game goes on. I'm just splitting here, trying to find a reason why I like this, you know, this Memphis team to win here. But again, the total, I'm all over the place, as you could tell. So nothing really to go on there. I do think that, you know, if Memphis is going to push the pace, like I said, it could go over. But as the game goes on, this Memphis defense that was a defensive sort of thing for them years back, that's where it kind of shows later on in the game. So we'll see what we roll with there, but I do like Memphis in terms of a spread pick. Just wanted to get to like -2.5 over, you know, -3, something like that. But guys, that is all I have for you guys in today's video. We got to get on the damn winning track. We will. We're confident. It's a long game here. But yeah, we'll keep showing up, and you guys can fade the picks if you want. Maybe that's even more valuable to some of you guys. But nonetheless, I'm going to keep showing up, keep doing these videos regardless, because just as much as I love sports betting and winning, I also love making these videos, love building the community that we're doing. So, you know, that's a twofold sort of secondary part of this. It may even be the priority, if you would say. But nonetheless, guys, that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully, guys, we have some winners today on Sunday. Good luck on your NFL plays. Go check out Sleeper for those squares, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.